Disclaimer: this video is an imagination written by author's perspective. It has nothing to do with real life. It's only for entertainment purpose. I own the storyline and narration, so please don't copy and repost my work. Thank you. Wine, because now it's just not about us. Now it's also about our baby Jungkook. I am pregnant. You reveal this news, and Jungkook's eyes became widened. He became shocked. Jungkook, you are pregnant? He asked with shocked face. You nodded. Wine, yes, Jungkook, I'm 4 weeks pregnant. Actually, from last 2-3 days, I was feeling weak and my health was not good, so I decided to go to doctor. Wine, doctor told me that I'm 4 weeks pregnant. I was so shocked with this news, but I'm happy. You said with a smile, but Jungkook's face is looking shocked and sad. Wine, what happened, Jungkook? Are you not happy with this news? Teary eyes. Jungkook, no, Wine, it's not like that. Actually, we used protection, and you were also on your pills. Jungkook, then how can you get pregnant? Confused. Fine. Actually, Jungkook, you know that sometimes protection don't work. Jungkook nodded and Fine, and I stopped taking pills because they were affecting my health. You said with teary eyes. Fine, I'm sorry, Jungkook. Jungkook, but why you are saying sorry, Vine? Vine, because I know, Jungkook, that you are not happy with this news. You are already stressed because of your family, and now I told you this. Vine, you just started this all, and you have so many responsibilities as a mafia boss. But now I give you one more responsibility. You said while crying. Jungkook's heart became soft and he hugged you tightly. Jungkook, what are you saying, Bayan? This is my child, and as a father, I'll give everything to my baby. Jungkook, our child is not a mistake, Bayan. This baby is the symbol of our love. Bayan, I'm so happy with this news. Thanks for sharing this news with me. He said happily, and he also smiled. But from inside, Jungkook is so scared. His father will kick him out from Mafia World if he'll get to know about your pregnancy. Jungkook don't want to lose his position. He promised his mother that he'll become most successful mafia leader and rule the mafia world. But now he's feeling scared for the first time. His father will not accept him now. Meanwhile, Mrs. Jeon is roaming here and there in her room and she is eating her nails in frustration. She is so stressed and she is trying to find an idea to kick out Jungkook from this mafia king race. She is so greedy. She knows that if Jungkook will be permanent mafia king, then she'll not get any power. And if her son wins this position, then she can also rule. Mrs. Sean, I have to do something, otherwise me and my son will lose everything, she said while looking in mirror. Just then she heard her cell phone ringing. She picked the call immediately because it's very important call. OTP, Mrs. Sean, hello. OTP, hello, Mrs. Sean, did you get any information? I have a good news, Mrs. Sean. OTP, Mrs. Sean, good news? Confused. Yes, you are going to be grandmother soon. Mrs. Sean became shocked. OTP, Mrs. Sean, what? But I'm still young. Are you mad? Jungkook's girlfriend Vine is pregnant and you are thinking about your age? OTP, Mrs. Sean, Vine is pregnant. Yes, she's pregnant. And I'll talk to you later. because I have to find more information. OTP, Mrs. John. Okay. Then she hung up the call and held her head and started screaming. After hearing her screams, her secretary Mia also come inside her room. Mia, what happened, ma'am? Mrs. John, Vine is pregnant. Teary eyes. Mia, then why are you sad, ma'am? It's a good news. Jungkook is having a child with a normal girl, so Mr. John will never accept him and kick him out from his property and all. Smirk. Mrs. John, you don't know him, Mia. Jungkook holds a special place in his father's heart because he was his first child and son of his love. He'll never kick him out. Mrs. John, and now that girl is pregnant, so Mr. John will accept them, no matter from where she belongs. But she is carrying Jeon's blood, so Mr. John will accept her. Mrs. John, Jungkook is the mafia king because he was the big son of this house, and now Vine is pregnant, so his child will also become big from my grandchild. Mrs. John, my generation has to suffer because of this Jungkook. I have to do something, otherwise they'll get everything, and me and my son have to become beggars. Then Mrs. John started thinking a plan, and her secretary is also helping her to think about something. Mrs. John, idea, smirk. Mia, tell me about your idea. Mrs. John, I'll use Jungkook against Jungkook, she said with a smirk. Mia, what do you mean? Mrs. John, you'll not understand, Mia. I'll tell you later. Now let me call Jungkook. Mia nodded and left from there. Then Mrs. John records a voice message and sent it to Jungkook. And in that message, she said that she have an urgent work and she want to discuss about something very important. After that, she switched off her phone so Jungkook come to meet her. Meanwhile, Jungkook was sitting in his living room and then he received the message and he heard that voice message. He became confused and decided to call Mrs. John, but her phone is switched off. So he decided to meet her. After all, he knew that if she is calling him to meet her, then she have some urgent work. Then Jungkook left to meet her on her place. Time skip. Mrs. John is waiting for Jungkook on the terrace, and just then she heard some footsteps coming towards her. She looked back and saw Jungkook. She smiled and hugged Jungkook. Mrs. John, hello son. Fake smile. Jungkook, why you called me here, Mrs. John? He asked coldly. Mrs. John, it's mom, Jungkook. Call me mom. Jungkook, stop this drama and come to the main point. He said, and Mrs. John sighed. Mrs. John, Jungkook, I know that Vine is pregnant. Jungkook became shocked. Jungkook, who told you this? Mrs. John, it doesn't matter who told me this, but main thing is that your father will never accept that girl and her child. Mrs. John, he will kick you out from this mansion and from this mafia world if he'll get to know about this. I want you as a mafia king, Jungkook, but this child can destroy your dream. Jungkook's fear is true. He knew something like this was coming. Jungkook, what do you mean to say? Tell me clearly, Jungkook said, and Mrs. John nodded. Mrs. John, just abort this child because this baby is coming between your dreams. To be continued. Thanks for watching.